Hi guys, it's Arielle. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you guys have had a good start to the new year. I know it's been a while since I posted, so I just thought I would say that as well. So as you guys can probably tell by the title of this video, today we're going to be talking about my 5 top reasons for why I love living in Paris. First and foremost, I just wanted to thank you guys so much for all the support that I've recently been receiving. A lot of you guys have subscribed to my channel, have been leaving really awesome comments in the comment section. You guys have even been reaching out to me on Instagram for help and advice on moving to Paris. And I just wanted to say thank you so much, and I really truly appreciate it because I feel like when you're a small YouTuber, you don't really have a sense of like purpose. You're like, is what I'm doing helpful? Should I bother doing this? And your comments have just made me so happy, and they've really like given purpose to the videos I'm making. And if I can even help just a couple of you guys with your transition to moving to Paris or answering any questions you guys have about living in France, that like makes my day. So that being said, keep leaving those comments. I'll do my best to answer them. If you guys do have any questions, you can always reach out to me on my Instagram. I'll put a picture of that somewhere here. I'm pretty slow with messages, but I do try my best to answer. The second thing I just wanted to mention was, since my last video, I have gotten Invisalign. And so I feel like maybe I might look a little bit weird, but also I definitely have some hard time pronouncing words. So if I have like a lisp or if I'm slurring any words, I'm so sorry, I'm trying my best. Okay, now that being said, let's get right into the video. So this video is definitely like a follow-up video to the past couple of videos I posted about like my visa nightmares and my 5 reasons why I don't think you should move to Paris. I felt like this video was very important because even though I complain a lot about like the French system and I complain about Paris, like I'm living in France because I love it, and I'm living in Paris because I want to, and there are so many beautiful things about Paris, and I just want to talk about them today because I feel like I don't give enough justice to Paris. So the first reason that I love living in Paris is that they have one of the best public transportation systems in France, dare I say the world. The public transportation system is just so efficient and it's so comprehensive, it's like insane. There are constantly metros and buses that connect you all throughout the different arrondissements in Paris. But even further to that is that you are so connected to even like the suburbs outside of Paris. And this is great for a couple of reasons. Like if you don't want to live downtown Paris or like within central Paris because it's very expensive, you can easily live outside of Paris, pay a cheaper rent, and still have quick and easy access into the city because the transportation system is so large. Another thing too is even if you just want to be a tourist for a day and visit places outside of Paris, like Versailles, for example, that's all connected by the public transportation system. So in Paris, you have obviously the metros and the buses, but you also have like a series of like trains and lignes. These are called like RER or like ligne UN, all that kind of stuff. And these trains are what connects you to outside of Paris. Another great thing about the Paris public transportation system is that it's like relatively affordable in my opinion. For the amazing service that it is, for the huge area that it covers, you're not paying very much. So if you live in Paris, the monthly pass is 75 euros. And also if you work in Paris, most employers have to pay 50% of your Metro Pass. And so for me, for example, I don't pay the full 75, I only pay like around like 37. While 75 euros might seem like a lot to some people, if you compare it to other big cities, it's definitely not that much. Like Toronto, for example, I feel like that's the only really true example I can give because I used to live in Toronto. When I was there like 5 years ago, the Metro Pass for an adult was $125, which is like approximately, I would say 80 euros. And that is for a system that is so much less comprehensive than Paris. Like in Toronto, you have like this and like that's it. Not to like say the Toronto transportation system sucks, but I mean like in comparison, you're really not getting the same kind of service and you're paying more. So yeah, that's the first reason I love living in Paris. You're connected everywhere, you can get anywhere, and it's affordable. The second reason why I absolutely love living in Paris is that there's such a strong international community. In all of the cities that I've lived in France, I've never made friends as fast as I have in Paris. I feel like Paris just generally attracts like literally everyone from like tourists to other French people to Europeans to international students and international workers. And so it's honestly just so easy to meet other international people and make friends with other international people. And the thing I also want to mention too is if you are thinking of moving abroad or thinking of moving to Paris, but you're worried that you're moving alone and that you might not have any friends and that you're kind of scared of being lonely, like that is definitely a legitimate concern. But the thing is, what you'll realize so fast is once you meet like international people, once you join an international community, you'll find that most people are just the same as you. Most international students, travelers, workers are seeking like a sense of adventure. They're motivated, they're energized, like they want to make friends, they want to do things. It's like the energy is through the roof. And so I really do find that amazing, because once you find your international community, you will have people that are so eager to be friends, who are eager to do things with you, and you will very rarely feel lonely because there's always something to do and with someone. And so on that note, I thought I would also give you like my go-to method for making friends in Paris, because you know, it might not be like super obvious on how to do this, but you know, if you just moved to Paris and you don't necessarily have any like connections in the city, Facebook groups are the way to go. I've joined a couple, like when I first moved here, I joined a couple Facebook groups. I joined like international travelers in Paris, international students in Paris, international meetups in Paris, and I joined all of these groups, and I would just like follow the posts and stuff, because what usually ends up happening is someone, you know, is like, hey, let's go have a picnic at this park, and then like 40 international people find themselves at this park, and you sort of talk with everyone, and you end up finding people that you just like vibe really well with, and that you can, you know, stay connected with and really develop a friendship with. And so I'm going to leave those Facebook groups linked down below. So if you are thinking of moving to Paris, or you've just recently moved to Paris, or if you're lonely in Paris, I would definitely suggest joining those groups and like, you know, participating in those groups. I know it can be like so nerve-wracking to like make the first step and like go to one of those events like knowing no one. Let me tell you, I know that feeling. Like, it's just so nerve-wracking, but it's honestly so worth it. There's nothing to be worried about. Like, seriously, the international community in Paris, from what I've experienced, is so open, is so welcoming, is so friendly. Like, people will welcome you with open arms. So the third reason why I think Paris is the best city to live in the world is that it is such a huge cultural hub. You know, and I don't mean this in a general way, like, oh, there are over 100 museums, and there's the Louvre, and there's the Mona Lisa. Like, I mean this in more of a broad way. Like, Paris is such a culturally rich city with activities, events, and places just every day, everywhere. No matter what you're looking for, you really will find it in Paris. You know, for example, there's performance arts through the roof. There is operas and ballets, live theaters, open air cinemas. There are really cool art expositions and shows like the Atelier des Lumières. There's like crazy, quirky places to walk through, like the Père Lachaise cemetery and the catacombs. And there's activities that you'll just never get bored of, like looking at Paris at the top of the Eiffel Tower, or climbing the Arc de Triomphe, or, you know, walking to the top of Montmartre and looking at Paris from the viewpoint of Sacré-Cœur. There are so many cool neighborhoods that are rich in their own cultures, like Le Marais and Pigalle. And I think further to that point is that there is a community in Paris for all walks of life, like really truly for all spirits out there. There's something that you'll find that you truly love in Paris. So for example, for myself, I'm very interested in figuring out ways to lead a more sustainable life and to appreciate the environment more. And so in Paris, for me, there's a lot more ways to do this and to experience this. There are hundreds of thrift shops. There are tons of local produce markets and little organic stores in my neighborhood. You know, if you're looking for like a very inclusive culture, then I think Paris is definitely the way to go. And what I also want to mention about this, which is so important, is that if you are under the age of 26, you can do almost anything in Paris for either free or for very cheap. Like, it really is crazy how much stuff is for free in Paris for young adults. The Louvre is free. Versailles is free. Arc de Triomphe is free. Eiffel Tower is seriously reduced in price. Atelier des Lumières, you have a discount for young adults. And probably the most important thing for me, because I love performance arts, is you can go see the opera, the ballet, or the theater in Paris for 10 euros if you are under the age of 26. Like, that's insane to me. Okay, so the fourth reason why I think that Paris is one of the greatest cities to live in is for the vibe. Now, I hate to use that word because it's just like kind of lame, but I feel like it really encompasses what I mean, in that Paris has such a vibrant energy. It's just, no matter where you are in the city, there's just this vibe that puts you on such a high. Like, if you walk down any street in Paris, you will see really cool shops, you'll see markets, you'll see patios crowded with people laughing and enjoying a drink together. You'll see restaurants with lights and servers laughing. It's just such an energetic vibe throughout the city that makes you so happy to be there. You just, like, even if you're not doing anything, even if you're just walking down the street, you're just like, I'm happy to be here. And I was talking about this with one of my French colleagues at work who was saying that she's just so bummed that during the pandemic, like, all of the restaurants and bars are closed because c'est Paris. Like, Paris is that energy. Paris is the bars. Paris is the terraces. Paris is the idea of having this cafe culture where after work you meet friends for a drink and, you know, you go with colleagues for a coffee break. Like, there really truly is this idea of coming together at some point in the day with your friends, with loved ones, with colleagues, and just enjoying and sharing that moment together. And I think seeing that and being a part of that, it just makes for a really cool vibe, a cool and happy vibe. Now, the fifth and final reason why I think Paris is such an amazing city to live in is that it is beautiful. I know in my last video that I made about the 5 reasons why you shouldn't move to Paris is that Paris truly is like a concrete jungle. You're not going to get some like hugely environmental city. That being said, Paris is still beautiful in other ways. So even though there are a lot of buildings, the Parisian architecture like really truly is something out of this world. I was talking to my French friend's uncle who said when you're walking through the streets of Paris, you shouldn't look forward, but you should look up. And you should look at the buildings and the balconies and the windows and the flowers. It really is such a beautiful aesthetic. And I think going back to the other point of like this cafe culture is that even the cafes and the bars and the restaurants like emulate this sort of Parisian architecture vibe because you don't have so much like modern style cafes. You have like the Parisian bistro tables with like the bistro chairs. Everything is very much in line with this Parisian architect and Parisian aesthetic, and it just makes walking and looking around the city super fun. So that being said, I thought I would share with you guys also a couple of my favorite neighborhoods to walk around in. I love walking around in the Marais. I think they're really cool shops and bars. It's got this sort of like artsy, vibrant energy to it. I really love walking Sacré-Cœur and Montmartre. I feel like that is a very classic Parisian aesthetic. I love walking through the Père Lachaise cemetery. I know that might seem kind of weird, but it's just like this old Parisian cemetery. It kind of makes me feel like stepping back in time or like I'm in like a Harry Potter movie. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just a cool place to walk, I think. And another one of my favorite places to walk is actually the Ile de la Cité, like the little island where the Notre Dame Cathedral is. The Notre Dame Cathedral obviously was very beautiful. And even though that's not open right now, the quartier itself is very pretty. There's like a little flower market, there's little vendors. Again, it's just a beautiful place to walk with that old Parisian aesthetic. And the vendors and what they sell are also pretty cool. So yeah, those are my 5 reasons for why I think you should move to Paris. I think to wrap this subject up, now that I've done like 5 reasons why you shouldn't and 5 reasons why you should, I just wanted to give my thoughts on whether or not I think Paris is or is not one of the best cities to live in. And from my opinion, Paris is a really amazing city to live in temporarily. I think there's so much to experience and to live and to enjoy in the city, but I just cannot see myself being happy here for my whole life. I truly feel my best when I'm surrounded by open green spaces, and even though yes, Paris does have parks scattered throughout the city, it's definitely not as connected to nature as I think I would want in the future. When I was living in Grenoble, I really truly loved living by the mountains, and when I was in Aix-en-Provence in the south, I loved living by the sea. And so I think that for me personally, I'm really happy to be in Paris for now and to experience all that Paris has to offer and to make friends. But I think long term, I don't see myself living in Paris. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope this video inspired you guys to travel or to visit Paris. And as always, if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me on Instagram. You can leave a comment below. And if you guys are already living in Paris or if you're from Paris, please also comment below like other cool things you love about the city. I would just love to discover more about Paris. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon.